Hey guys, welcome to our virtual studio video 2. Today we're going to be talking about the blues scale, and what that is a tool that you can use to access melodic ideas that will work really well over songs that sound like our St. Pat's blues that we had last week. So these are obviously bluesy sounds. And what the blues scale looks like, it's going to be similar to our major scale that we've started to work on. I'm going to hold that up for a second. So that's going to be on your paper with the music, but now you can match it and see all those different notes. So we have our 1, we have a flat 3, not a 3 that's on the second string, a flat 3 that's on the third string with the 1. We have a 4, just like in the major scale, but then we have a flat 5, so that's just right on the fret next to it, and then we have a 5. So these 3 notes on the second string are right in a row, one fret after another, da da da. Then, on our first string, we have a flat 7, and a 1. So you might have noticed that there's some numbers missing. We don't have a 2, we don't have a 6, and of course we don't have a 3 or a 7 because those have been turned into flat notes. And all those flat notes are what we call our blue notes. So they might sound a little weird, but because it's a bluesy style, they fit right into what we're playing. Now, I don't expect you to have to play a song that uses all of those notes, but I do expect that you can figure out how to use just the 1 and the 4 and the 5, which we've already used in our major scale. And where we find those to play over the St. Pat blues is at fret 10. That's very important that you count all the way up to find way up on the neck, fret 10. And that's where we'll get our 1, our 4, and the 5. And those couple of notes are all you're going to need for the melody that we now have added to St. Pat's Blues. Now, this is what the blues scale sounds like if you learn all of the notes. So you can hear that there's a bit of a weird spot, especially on the second string. Because those 3 notes that are right next to each other with half steps on the frets are very chromatic. So, now, you'll have gotten the melody that we've added to St. Pat's Blues. So this week it's not about playing those power chords that we learned about last time. Now it's about playing single notes. So make sure you're only hitting 1 string at a time with each note. Okay. So, look at that on your music. You can match that, your 1, 4, 5. And then all of the notes in our St. Pat's Blues will just use those 3 notes. So let's look at that together. On our first line, you have a whole bunch of F's, or the 1. So, okay, that was simple, but it kind of changed to going from slower to faster. So we have to remember that we have some half notes for the first 2 measures, and half notes take up 2 whole beats. So don't go quickly, just go a do 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 do. That won't make any sense. What we need to do is make sure those half notes we count in our head. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Then we have quarter notes, and those last for one beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the line ends with a whole note, and whole notes take up the whole measure, so you count to 4. Okay, so first line is pretty simple. Let's look at our second line. On the second line, where the B flat starts playing, we switch to a 4 in our melody. And you can look at your scale shape. I would tell you what string and fret and all of that, but I really want you guys to be learning how to look at this scale shape. So let's look at, again, if you're just confused, here's the 4. It's in the middle of our 3 notes. Okay, now about those rhythms. Looks like all those 4s are half notes, so each of those you just play for 2 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're back to our 1. That sounds pretty similar to the start of the song. Okay. Now we have a 5, but it's going to go by pretty quick. 2 more half notes. Those 2 half notes on 4. And there we go. That will finish the song. So this week I made for you guys another play along. It'll go 4 times playing along with the St. Pat's Blues melody. Again, you can always slow it down with YouTube. There's that little gear that's in the corner, and that lets you change the playback speed, so you could slow it all the way down to half speed if you need to. And this is still the same chords as last week, so if you want to say, I don't want to listen to Mr. Matt's melody playing, I want to play this all on my own, you could go back and play the notes over last week's version of the song if you want that crazy rock sound that I used with my electric guitar. So, take your time and practice this, and then try it with the play along. It'll still have the little bouncing ball, so watch for that for how quick it's going by, and you guys should be able to do it just fine. So, have fun. So you might be thinking, Mr. Matt, why did you give us all of these notes if we're only going to be using 3 of them? I only needed 3. Why did I need all the others? It doesn't make any sense. Well, it's okay. It's all right. And all I want is for you to try practicing the blues scale shape. Make sure your first finger's at the 10th fret so that your 1 on the 3rd string is in the right spot. And then remember that we have 4 fingers when we're playing guitar. Sometimes we can use our thumb if we're lucky to have one that's long enough, but we have 4 fingers. So when we come back and we're playing all together again, and if I ask you, hey, did you try out the blues scale? And you're like, yeah. And then you take your first finger and you're all going like, bah, 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 bah. Then I'm going, oh, why are you doing that to yourself? That's just confusing. So make sure that your first finger is at the 1, and that's all it gets. It doesn't get anything else. Remember, first finger, pointer finger. Then you have a flat 7 and a 4. Not on the 3rd string, but that's on the 2nd and the 1st string, and that's what your 2nd finger, or your middle finger, is in charge of. Then, on our next fret up, we have our flat 5, and our 3rd finger, that's all it gets to be in charge of. Then, our pinky, which I know is not the smartest finger, gets a flat 3, 5, and 1. And all of that is on the 13th fret. So you want to make sure that you're trying to use all of your fingers so that you can play it quickly and comfortably. And you might think, well, what do I play? I don't get it. Like it's just notes. That's it. That seems boring. Well, maybe it'll be a little boring at first, because you're just learning where these notes are, you're just learning the shape and memorizing it. But I think soon, because there's only a couple notes per string, you'll start to find, hey, this is pretty easy. And then you can just start playing around with it. Just play a little bit of a doodly doodly do. And suddenly, you'll start to have little ideas of, hey, that sounds pretty cool. And you can just play, and you don't have to worry about, I'm not sure that sounds really as cool as I want it to be. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you just try and have fun with it. So, to give you an example, because that always sounds pretty scary, I recorded a little extra one more time through the St. Pat's Blues, but this time, instead of playing the melody over it, I played my own little improvising of some blues scale playing, this exact shape. Didn't go any further than that. I was just using these notes, and this is what I was able to do with one little playthrough. I made it fast because then it makes it fun. So, enjoy. Alright, that's all for today. Thank you for joining me again. Remember to keep practicing those songs in your book. If we have a concert coming up once this is all over, we want to make sure that we're ready for it. Enjoy trying out the blues scale. If you have any questions, email me, comment on the video. I'll try to get back to you as quick as I can, or we'll just have to pick it up once we get back and try it all together and have some fun with it. See you next time.